Mr Speaker, I rise to speak in support of the Civil Aviation, Cape Town Convention and Other Matters Amendment Bill. I'd like to congratulate my local MP for how well his reading's coming on. He read that beautifully. Maybe these national standards will help some people after all. In that respect, he brought energy to a piece of legislation which the House finds itself in urgency considering today. Well, the question is where he got his suit from. I bet it's a foreign suit. I bet it's an import. It won't be made locally. I can guarantee that. Sir, this bill, as the Associate Minister explained, is a piece of legislation which is highly technical in nature. I think the speech made that pretty clear. But it does bring us into line with with one convention, which will have, presumably, we hope, quite a practical impact for a number of countries, including this one. With respect to the way in which international financing is handled for assets such as aircraft and aircraft engines. So we will be supporting this legislation. It is unusual for us to support legislation that is introduced under urgency, not referred to a select committee for public consideration, not given the chance for reflection. But I am aware that the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee has conducted quite an extensive and I'm advised exciting inquiry into the issue of the Cape Town Convention. They have left no stone unturned when it comes to the various clauses that make up that convention, and so therefore the legislation that flows from the inquiry the committee has done probably on this occasion suffices enough for the ratification of that by Parliament through the legislation. There's only a couple of issues that I wanted to speak about at first reading, and I know my colleagues who have sat through that inquiry will want to make more fulsome comments on some of the other matters. I know my colleague Darian Fenton will have some issues around civil aviation safety that I know she's keen to explore with the House as this bill goes through. But it seems to me, sir, that one of the best things about this convention is that it takes an activity which is by definition multinational. Although there are strong domestic aviation markets, when we think of long-distance air travel, that is between countries. Therefore, that involves many governments, many jurisdictions, and different environments where alternative legal operations take place, and in an industry where the capital cost of these projects, of these assets like aircraft and aircraft engines, are so significant, and therefore the leasing of them is not a cheap action. How these arrangements are arrived at becomes critical for a competitive aviation market, for the ability of air travel to take place without the steep cost of compliance because of the concern of creditors for the location of their assets. I think one of the things the Convention is doing that is very good is it's recognising the whole point of air travel, which is contact, be that economic contact through trade. And as a small country that exports significantly from some of our freshest products which need to arrive at market in a fresh condition, then of course air freight is very important, or people-to-people contact as people travel as passengers in civil aviation. So the Convention will allow creditors to file directly with an international registry by computer, so they'll be able to do that electronically, thereby cutting enormously the amount of time if this was having to be done by another form of civil aviation, pigeon post or carrier mail in that respect, sir. And they'll be able to do that from wherever they are in the world, wherever there may be a dispute or a concern about an asset that will able to be take place. And I notice that the Irish government have volunteered to host matters where there is litigation or where there is the requirement for the intervention of a court, and that is, it seems to, from what I have read, that's been welcomed by most of the players who take an interest in this area as a way of Ireland's efficient legal system, effectively exporting their skills and being the location in Dublin where any disputes will take place. This will reduce risk and uncertainty, and of course that's got to be good for New Zealand. But sir, this is an international convention, and we shouldn't only focus on the benefits to this country. By signing this convention, it is hoped that developing countries will be able to take advantage of lower costs to them by such a regime taking place. Often in those countries where there are fledgling markets, these can be very high barriers to entry for people in international aviation. So our hope would be that not only is this good for New Zealand because of our geography, our isolation and our strong dependence on exporting, but that it will also bring some assistance, sir, to countries around the world, particularly in the developing countries, where we're achieving these sort of arrangements in civil aviation could make quite a difference to those countries. So the bill, sir, despite its complexity, I don't think will find itself the subject of huge attention this afternoon. Its moment in the spotlight might not be as brief as the work that's been done to bring it to this point, but that should in no way take away from the fact that it is quite a practical application or practical resolution of an issue that every year different companies and countries find themselves dealing with, and the Labour opposition is very pleased to support the first reading of the Civil Aviation Cape Town Convention Other Matters Amendment Bill, sir, and we'll be supporting the bill as it passes through this afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity.